call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Here.
Vitale. Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Here.
Chaplesky. Haas.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
May.
Here.
Probst.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
10 present, unexcused.
We have a quorum. We will begin with the reports from the Administration and Finance Committee. Alderman Haas.
Mayor Devine. Drawing the council's attention to the following items which were acted upon by the Administration and Finance Committee. Items 18 through 25 and 29, 30, 33, and 34 were all either approved or adopted. 31 was placed on file. 27, 28, and 32 were adopted as amended. I move for approval of, nope, stand by.
Alderman Haas,
Sure.
would it be possible for you to read out from the supplemental agenda the NeoGov separately?
We didn't, that wasn't on the supplemental
That wasn't,
agenda.
excuse me, on the regular agenda, I apologize. We had the,
What item number is that?
can't find it, it was the one that was brought forward on the NeoGov. I believe that Rebecca Gill brought it up during the 6:30 meeting, was the.
We aren't reporting those out.
We're not
Those are
talking
just
about that?
discussion items.
Okay.
We aren't
All right,
voting on
thank you.
those.
Apologize for interrupting.
And also items, item 35 to place on file and 36 to place on file. And I don't know if I, yeah, thank you, Alderman. 36 to deny. And I move for approval of that portion of the committee report.
Second.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
you said there was an amendment on, one of them was the amendment?
So there were two amendments on items 27 and 28, actually three amendments. 27 was an amendment, which I will tell you here. The amendment was to approve, subject to city attorney approval on the contract and the language of the contract. 28 was an amendment adding a line to item 6.1 that clarified an issue. And item 32
What's the
was,
clarification?
yeah, I don't have it right now.
I mean, is it a major, oh, here, Alderman Roach just gave it to me.
Yeah, there we go. This is going fabulously, by the way.
Mayor Devine? Mayor Devine?
Okay, so it was paid leave reported in 48-hour increments, and you changed it to what?
It's the yellow part is the change.
Oh, that's the change.
amendment. The yellow
Okay,
part is
very
the
good.
amendment, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And item, the other amendment was item 32, changing the term resignation to retirement, which is more appropriate, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor
Alderperson
Devine.
Probst.
Alderman Haas, I apologize, it was number 28 that I would like to have read out separately.
Got it. So then I move for approval of, as I stated, other than item 28.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chaplesky. Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
10 in favor, none opposed.
Motion carries.
And then item 26 was acted upon favorably by 4 members of the committee, with 1 member voting no. I move for approval of item 26.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman May. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chaplesky.
No.
Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
9 in favor, 1 opposed.
Motion carries.
And item 28 was acted upon favorably by all 5 members of the committee as amended, and I move for approval of item 28.
Second.
There's a motion with a second. Any discussion?
Mayor Devine?
Alderperson Probst.
Alderman Haas, could you please go through with the amendment?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So Under the heading Procedures by Classification, a portion is added that, and I will read the full paragraph, including the added portion. Payroll reporting is on a biweekly basis using the city's timekeeping systems. Employees shall use the appropriate codes to report time worked and leave taken. The amendment is the following sentence. Paid leave may be used and reported in 4 or 8 hour increments based on department staffing needs and subject to department head approval.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chapletsky.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
No.
Reinke.
Aye.
9 in favor, 1 opposed.
Motion carries.
And that completes the Administration and Finance report. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you, Alderman Haas. Next, we have the Public Works Committee. Alderman Barzak.
Mayor Devine. I would like to bring your attention to items number 37 through 50 on tonight's agenda. With the exception of number 38, that item will be held. These are all resolutions with the exception of item number 49. It's a communication to place on file. And all resolutions have been moved to be adopted by all 5 members of the committee. I move for adoption of the committee's report.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Vitale. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chapletsky.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
10 in favor, none opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine, that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Safety and Development Committee, Alderman Lysick.
Mayor Devine. I refer you to items 51, 52, and 54 through 83 on your agenda. Item 53, we're holding in committee for further discussion. All of the ordinances for approval, resolutions to be adopted, communications to be placed on file, including item 73, which was a rezoning request on 70th Street. Acted upon favorably by all 5 members of the committee. I move for adoption of the committee report.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Barzak. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel. Barzak.
Aye.
Chapletsky.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
10 in favor, none opposed.
Motion carries.
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. And next, we have the License and Health Committee, Alderman Chapletsky.
I'd like to report on items number 10 through 17. These are various approvals, place on file, or in the case of 13, 14, and 15, to deny. This was voted on by 4 members with 1 member excused. Then I got 84 through 98, which includes 86A and 91 as amended, and 100 and 101, which voted for, favored by all 5 members. I'd like to move for the adoption of the committee's report.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman May. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have advisory. Alderperson Reinke.
Mayor Devine. I direct the council's attention to items number 104, 105, and 106 on tonight's agenda, 2 appointments and 1 communication that were approved. I move for their approval. Mayor Devine.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderperson Probst. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chapletsky.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
10 in favor, none opposed.
Motion carries.
And we have number 107, an ordinance that was approved by 4 to 1 by members of the committee. I move for its approval. Mayor Devine.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman May. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Devine.
Alderperson Probst.
I'm the lone dissenter on voting on this. I want to make sure that I make my point known to the rest of the committee members that may not have been in that room tonight. While I understand the excluding of a certain person from a closed session meeting of the Common Council so that the city is always protected, I do not believe it is appropriate to have the subject of the complaint also being permitted to stay in the room. I just think that that is horribly inappropriate, and I think the taxpayers will have quite a thing to say about that.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman May.
I just want to comment that that was a feeling I had coming into this meeting as well. As I understand it, if there's a claim against the city, all the other members of the council who do not have a claim or who have not made the claim are protected by the city council. So by council, I mean the city attorney's office. So I think the language makes sense as if we excluded defendants from being in consulting meetings with our city attorney, they wouldn't have full representation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mayor Devine?
Alderperson Barzak.
Actually, Kathy won't be the only vote to send it. I'm going to vote no on it also. I don't think we need it, is my opinion. I think that in the past, I don't know how many years we've been meeting together, but anytime something came up where I recall an instance of mine where I was asked to be excused from license and health because I was a hostile, and when they went into closed session, it was pretty obvious that I should not have been in there because could be negotiating or whatever for the terms which I should not have been in there. So I didn't go in on a closed session. I think if any council member would sue the council, and they brought suit on, they would not be allowed in that room either. So I don't think I don't think it has to be spelled out. I think it's pretty obvious, and I think that would be law, that if someone is having a case against the city and you had to meet in closed session to discuss what your plan is going to be or discuss what's going to go on, you wouldn't be in that room. And I think it's happened before with other members of the council where they had to excuse themselves from being in a closed session. It's also happened with staff, where if a staff member came in front, they could normally be in a closed session, but if it was directly against a particular employer, et cetera, they'd have to excuse themselves. I just don't think it's necessary, and that's why I'm voting no. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing
Yeah.
none? Oh, Alderperson Reinke.
From what I understand, without this ordinance, the statutes provide that no alderperson may be excluded from any sub-unit meeting. This is aimed at claims, litigation, and quasi-judicial matters such as license hearings. And obviously, what we are about to undertake. So I hope that explains why we need this ordinance.
Thank you, Alderperson Reinke.
Did our city attorney want to add anything to that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Rote.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
No.
Chapletsky.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
No.
Reinke.
Aye.
8 in favor, 2 opposed.
Motion carries.
That is all, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Mayor Devine.
Alderperson Lysick.
I move that we adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting, Tuesday, June 20th at 7 p.m.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Vitale. Is there any, we don't need discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.